an Ellistone Freestylers production.
This is something that we have just spoken about. This podcast this week was going to be about the title race, but I figured that might be a bit boring as it's literally everything that is spoken about on, football over the last 2 weeks. And I don't think anyone actually cared about the title race anymore. Liverpool's squad this season. There's obviously a number of players that potentially need selling, and there's a number of players that Liverpool need to sign. First of all, who do you think should be sold?
Afternoon, everyone. Afternoon, Ev. Thanks for having me on again. First of all, as much as it pains me to say it, Salah is 32 in June. If a big offer were to come in for Salah this summer, which it probably will from the Saudi League, you would imagine, I personally think it's time to cash in on him. He'll always be a legend. He'll always be one of Liverpool's greatest players. But there comes a time, unfortunately, where all players, every player ever, comes to the end of the line at that level. And I believe that Salah is coming to the end of the line at that level. I think his performances since AFCON and in his injury have been poor, very, very poor. Unfortunately, I think it's come to the end of the road for him at Liverpool. So if a big offer came in for him, I would take it. There's been rumours going around that PSG are going to put an offer in for Diaz. Around £75 million is what I'm hearing, euros, whichever. I would snatch their hand off. I think he flatters to deceive. He's great until he gets in the box or near the box. He can't finish, and his final ball is often not right. We know that Thiago's never going to play for Liverpool again. We know that Matip's not going to play for Liverpool again. They're both out of contract at the end of the season. So, sorry to see Matip go. It's a shame how Thiago's career at Liverpool's turned out because he's a wonderful player, but he just can't stay fit. Although we only signed him last season, I just don't know what Gravenberch does. Doesn't look like a Liverpool player to me. Doesn't look interested. No agency. Doesn't press. Doesn't work hard. I will cut our losses on Gravenberch. I would give.
Can I just stop you there?
Of course you can. Yeah.
If we were to sell Salah in the summer, obviously with all the manager rumours that have been going about, we could be getting Ruben Amorim in from Sporting. I don't know how good he is, obviously, because we don't watch Liga, whatever it's called. We don't watch Portuguese football. I don't know how good Amorim is. I've heard good stuff about Amorim, but I don't know how good he is because I've never watched Sporting play except from if they've played in the Champions League. If we do sell Salah, who would be the main target for us to get in for a replacement? In my opinion, I would go for Leverkusen's Florian Wirtz because this season he has been absolutely outstanding for Leverkusen this season. Obviously, Xabi has just won the Bundesliga with Leverkusen for the first time ever, and I think Florian Wirtz would be a great fit for a Salah replacement.
Again, I've got to be honest. I'm not as up on European football and football in general, modern football anyway, that you are, Ev. You know a lot of these players. I've heard his name, obviously, but I can't really say a lot because I don't really know, to be honest. I don't know. I've not seen him play or anything like that. So I think what we've got to remember as well is that it's all going to depend on what manager comes in. I think we possibly got a lot of sign-ins on the strength of having Jurgen Klopp as our manager, where players could have gone to other clubs, but they came to Liverpool because of Jurgen Klopp, because they wanted to play for Jurgen Klopp. The whole sort of philosophy of FSG is the like Moneyball philosophy, signing players of a certain age, with a certain profile, with a certain sell-on fee, etc. What Liverpool don't do is that they don't buy, they don't buy already established world-class players. They buy prospects, and Klopp turns them into world-class players. He's done it time and time and time and time and time again. Yeah. We're not going to have that next season. Our players going to look at Liverpool and go elsewhere because Klopp's not there. Are these managers that are being talked about? Are they going to be able to take? I mean, for example, Andy Robertson, 8 million from relegated Hull, one of the best left backs in the world. Klopp did that. Salah wasn't world class at the time. Mane wasn't world class at the time. But they were by the time Klopp had finished with them. So I think that maybe FSG need to change the way that they do signings. And I do feel that we need to start bringing in some already established class players. My one pick, I'm not sure how realistic it would be, and it would take an awful lot of money, would be Cole Palmer.
Cole Palmer, excellent player, as he's shown at Chelsea this season.
He's the best player in the Premier League at the minute.
Yeah. There could be arguments about that, but I do think personally that Cole Palmer could be maybe a contender for Player of the Season. I don't know if I think that's awarded.
Oh, he's definitely a contender for Player of the Season. Oh, he's definitely a contender for Player of the Season. Yeah. There's no two ways about it. Yesterday in the FA Cup semi-final, he was by far and away the best player on the pitch. What they were doing, awarding Kevin De Bruyne Man of the Match, was beyond me. I think it's Kevin De Bruyne. Let's give him Man of the Match because he's Kevin De Bruyne. Anyway, that's a separate subject. But I honestly do think that Liverpool, well, the board anyway, FSG, need to have a rethink about their policy of signing players, because we haven't got Klopp now. We haven't got the man who can turn good players into world-class players, which he's done several times. I don't know if FSG will change the way that we sign players, but I think we need to change a little bit the profile of the players that we sign. We need some established players in. I think that's part of the problem that's happened this season, is that we've signed players that are prospects, and at the start of the season they overachieved, I think, and now starting to get found out a little bit. Gravenberch, Gakpo,
Nunes maybe.
I personally, from my personal point of view, you know how much I love Darwin Nunes. I absolutely adore him. However, he has to start taking chances. The worst conversion rate of any player in the Premier League, 1 in 20 chances, just isn't good enough. He does a lot of other stuff, I get all that, and he causes havoc. We call him Captain Chaos. He must be a nightmare to play against, but he can't keep going season after season when missing these chances. I personally think one more season, give him one more season because I believe there's enough there for us to persevere for one more season. And if he doesn't sort his finishing out, that I'm afraid he would have to go for me.
Sorry about that. Sorry for interrupting you there, but I personally think with Núñez, fans expect him, like, obviously expected him when he signed for Liverpool at the start of the 22-23 season, which was obviously a couple of years ago now. Everyone expected him because he'd done so well at Benfica. Everyone expected him to just set the Premier League alight, and that was not the case. But you could make cases that at some point he has been better than others, definitely. And I think with this season alone, obviously we've seen at times he's not been the greatest of players. He's had off games. Every footballer has off games, but this is worrying for Núñez. He's had more off games than any other player this season.
Sorry to interrupt again. I don't think that it's that he has off games, because he's always involved. He's always in the thick of it. And to be fair to him, he never ever hides. He's always in positions for the chances. I'm going to say this, and I'll stick by it. It's a hill I'm willing to die on. If he could sort his finishing out, he would be the best player in the world. Yeah. There's no getting round it. If he scored even half the chances that he's had this season, we'd be talking about him in the discussion as being the best player in the world. Excuse me. It's just his finishing. He seems to rush things. It gets rushes of blood to the head. I mean, that chip at Brentford was absolutely outrageous. But then he'll whack one over the bar from 6 yards, like at Luton or something like that. It's frustrating. In the Europa League,
we played, I don't know who it was we played. It was, I think it was like Union St. Gilloise or something. He was clean through. Literally clean through. He had even more of a chance when he took it round the keeper. He hit the post, and then Gravenberch put it in from that.
That to me was Darwin Núñez in a nutshell. It's just so frustrating, because if he could just sort his finishing out, we'd have some player on our hands.
I think with Núñez, it's how much hype he got when he came into the Premier League. But Højlund, I don't know if you say would got the same. I think the hype that Højlund got, people sort of wanted him to fail at Man United, especially rival fans, and he's he's played all right this season. He had a bit of a run, and now that has stopped. But yeah, I think it's the sort of reactions that football fans have that has an impact on the player's performance throughout the season. You could definitely say, and I it's not about Núñez doing bad, but it's just that he can't score. He's hit the post more than anyone else this season.
4 times in one game this season. I can't remember what game it was now, but he hit the post he hit the woodwork 4 times.
It's just, it doesn't happen. Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. I think Liverpool need to sell some players in the summer, whether it be Gravenberch, Núñez, Salah, Diaz, Gakpo. Whether it be, obviously we need to sell Thiago. There's no doubt about that. He needs to go, and I think that's what Liverpool need in this summer. We need we need a rebuild of our whole squad, and whoever manager comes in, whether it be Amarin, Julian Nagelsmann, we won't get him because he's just signed a new contract for the German national team, so he will be staying there for a longer period of time. And I think Liverpool just need a rebuild of the squad, and we need some established players in. And I think that's what Liverpool need this summer.